The time is 6:09 p.m. It is Thursday, May 21st, 2026. About an hour, a little over an hour since the NASCAR community has found out about the devastating news of Kyle Busch's passing. Like myself and the rest of the NASCAR community, we were shocked to hear this. And I'm sure there are many questions that are still going around, being answered, tributes that are rushing to get made, to be in the moment of condolences and respect for NASCAR Cup champion, for what he was, NASCAR Cup champion, and all the moments he created in the NASCAR community. Some that were very great, and some that were questionable at times. But my form of tribute to Kyle Busch is an 8-lap around Daytona. This would be around the time of when Kyle Busch had approximately passed in the hospital, what Daytona would look in that hour, as the sun is near setting. I probably should have turned off the ghost also, just so it doesn't interfere. No racing, no speeding, nothing but a simple cruise around Daytona. The way I found out about the news wasn't through a newspaper, wasn't through my email or online. Rather, I got called from a friend, and I was wondering what all those messages were until I opened it, and I had to confirm myself, hoping that it was just some sick prank or a joke, or maybe he must have misread news. It was no lie. It's true. I was ready to hop into the sim and just mess around with some racing, get the daily missions done. And because there were updates that lowered my progress, I was ready to catch back up, get that 100% stats again, get those races done. And I don't feel like it anymore, at least for today. I was so ready to hop back into the sim after a while. Or I should rephrase that. I have hopped into the sim just to get myself a bit more practice before hopping back onto live streams and streaming my racing for y'all. just not the case. Kyle Busch will go down as one of the legendary drivers in NASCAR history. Aside from his brother Kurt, who already has that legendary status, his name in the Hall of Fame. Kyle Busch has, like I said, given us some moments that were good, moments that are questionable. The fan base always loved to meme anything Kyle Busch did, like the crash outs on his radios, whether the reasons were justified or not so. Things that he would say sometimes that were diabolical, and then often his form of racing that'd be aggressive, form of racing that would piss drivers off, and he would piss those drivers off, and then those drivers despised him. But at the end of all of it, it could not be taken away of how much respect that a lot of people have for him, despite this era of his where he was living like a villain. He stepped into this villain arc, like this bad guy persona, and there were people that loved him for that. Even when Kyle Busch was still racing alongside his brother, and they were in this era where Joey Logano and Chase Elliott were relatively new to the lineup. You still had Jeff Gordon, Dale Earnhardt Jr., and some other notable drivers. And he grew in racing, living those generations of those drivers we've seen in the past and drivers we've seen now. The Cowboys would have kept racing long enough while also teaching the son how to race. No doubt we would have seen the Bronny duo, father and son duo. But like the story of the Earnhardt family, it didn't happen. And it's not going to happen here. It is understandable what the son decides to do at this point, knowing that he is in that path of racing and wanting to get in NASCAR. I just can't imagine what the Busch family must be going through in that time of loss, this illness, whatever this illness was that took him away. I almost start to wonder if he knew about this or not, but I can only ask so many questions. We can ask so many questions that we might not get answers to, at least not right away, or maybe some not ever. But this is the reality for NASCAR now. We keep racing no matter who's there and who's not, and we can only look behind us, look behind through the mirrors, and appreciate the moments that we've had with those drivers. The drivers of the past, dead or alive. I started to grow more fond of Kyle Busch and the things he would do. And I liked him. Not that I had him as my favorite driver in the world, but I liked him. I respected him enough. He was driver of NASCAR. Some of you guys know that I work for a couple of racetracks as a videographer. And in their wall of champions for one of the tracks, they got a couple of his names up there. Maybe some more. Can't remember off the top of my head, but Kyle Busch did race at that local track. And from what I've heard from the people that work there, Kyle Busch doesn't talk about it a lot, but it's one of his favorite small local tracks. And I wonder if it's gonna be hard for me to go to work, knowing that that is a reality I have to live in now. I wonder if the track's gonna have some sort of tribute before we start off our day full of racing tomorrow. Not to mention you have IndyCar, Indy 500 coming up on Sunday, and the Canadian Grand Prix also happening within the same time frame. Of course, NASCAR does have to talk about it in the Coke 600. Kyle Busch is one of those drivers where it's rare to see, like Dale Earnhardt, Ayrton Senna, Dan Weldon, where, I guess in Kyle's Busch, to be more specific in his example, it's one of those drivers where they exceed, they break that boundary beyond NASCAR, and all the other leagues talk about you. They respect you in those other leagues. Not even just in the racing world, but in other sports and in other things, where I already saw in the first NASCAR post about Kyle Busch's, their first set of announcement of passing, Charlotte FC reached out in the comments to Busch, pay tribute to Busch, to rephrase that. It's heartbreaking. Many of us. It is heartbreaking. And what makes this death I don't want it to come off wrong either when I say it like this, unique. Aside from the obvious is that, yes, it's a tragedy when the driver passes, but when it happens outside of the track, from the already few that we saw prior to Biffle's passing or before that, this one that happened off the track, there's this pain in a way where we just didn't expect it. It was unexpected. And you know that as soon as you walk into that racetrack for the next NASCAR Cup schedule and you don't see Busch on the grid anymore, as soon as you park the car in the parking lot or wherever, and you're walking through that track, you know there are moments where silence fills the racetrack, and you know what that means. And all the people will think about is the passing. What world are we going to live in without Kyle Busch? As I approach the final turn 4 in Daytona, the Daytona 500 is a dream that a lot of drivers that pursued getting into NASCAR dream of. To be in this fabled race. Sweeter feeling when those drivers win it. And Kyle Busch has been many of those Daytona 500s. This is my way of paying my respect to you. Okay then. I guess I didn't like that. So I'll go for another lap until I get to start finish. He is a driver that will be remembered for a very long time. Alright, I guess I need to know if I can adjust that setting or not. Well, that burnout was to you. Goodbye, Kyle Busch, in this earthly world. I hope there's racing up in heaven.